welcome everybody to Planning and Zoning meeting. We'll get underway with our pledge. We've asked Commissioner Warnock to lead us in that, so if everybody could please rise.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our first item on the agenda is the approval of last month's minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the meeting minutes from March.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, our next and only other topic, except for adjourning, is the general plan amendment. This is a public hearing on the Edge Townhomes general plan. Do we have anybody from staff that wants to come up and
I'd
start
be
this
happy
off?
to fill in for
But you still
Mary.
need that other minute?
No, we're ready to go.
Okay, good.
We'll excuse Mary. She had other responsibilities tonight, so you got the B team. This is a proposal to amend the general plan at the location as shown. The applicant is here tonight. We appreciate them being available to answer any questions that may come up during the presentation. Let's go to the next slide. This is just kind of showing the area in more detail. You can see the existing structure on the property. Over the years, I believe it's been one of the largest structures in the city. Just at the mouth of the Spanish Fort Canyon, the property does have the option to continue to develop industrially, but the applicant is looking to change the general plan designation to high-density residential. Let's go to the next slide, please. So this image indicates what the desired change is. You can see the remainder of the site is here. Golf course is the brown here. Green is the open space. So what the applicant's looking at is a designation that would allow for it to develop residentially, consistently with what we may look at in the future as like an R3 or an R4 zoning designation. It usually comes with a range of 8 to 12 units per acre, is currently how the general plan describes high-density residential. If we go to the next slide, the DRC did look at the proposal in March and provided the following recommendation. The item has come to the Planning Commission and DRC before in conceptual form, many times for discussion to kind of work through some of the issues with the site potentially developing, regardless of if it's industrial or residential. The main key issue is the Planning Commission thinking through the request and providing a recommendation to the City Council whether it's appropriate to make the proposed change or not. The findings are very specific. The DRC found in their recommendation that the proposal would help provide a range of housing types within the city. They did recognize with finding number 2 that it provides an appropriate transition of density between the golf course and Highway 6. They did feel that some of the uses would be more compatible with the golf course than expanding the industrial uses. Item 4 was that the proposed designation may become a more compatible use with appropriate buffering and design, and we'll let the applicant kind of speak to that. Ways that you can provide buffering may be setbacks, provide spatial space between them, and then how you fill that space. And so whether it's a street, a wall with landscaping, or all the above. Finding number 5 is that the proposed designation may become more justified with enhanced access to the site. The site is currently largely served by one existing access point, and so whether the property continues to develop industrially or if the planning commission recommends and the city council sees fit to change that to a residential use, then those same needs for improvements to access would still exist. Just to remind you, this is the general plan request only. We would anticipate many details would be finalized with future development applications as well as a zone change request. Any questions for staff at this time?
Looks like we're good.
Thank you.
We'd like to hear from the applicant if they'd like to have anything to share with us.
Yeah, you bet. Let's see.
Could you tell us your name?
Yeah, that one kind of threw me off there. I'm like, that doesn't look like our site plan, but that was an older one. My name is Brandon Watson with Edge Homes. Appreciate your time this evening. I do have a presentation. I'll kind of hustle through some of it, as it may be a repeat from any work sessions that we may have had in DRC as well. But we're excited to be here this evening, and this is a really unique, cool project for us, and hopefully as well for Spanish Fork City. So I think I have the ability. Do I use this? Will that one work?
You can try. If not, just let me know.
Oh, working. It buzzed me. It works, it looks like. So so this is a 135-acre site with the existing building that's there. And like staff said, we tried to explore many options on what would be the highest and best use for the remaining acreage that's between the building and Powerhouse Road. This is such a unique site where you're buffered between Railroad and Highway 6 on the east side, and then you've got great views over the golf course that's on the west side, and then you're kind of tucked between industrial and residential from north to south. So we've had to kind of take a step back and look at it. Some considerations that we had to look at was, first of all, access to the site. And this has played a key role into our layout and our design as we've gone through this. But we really only have 450 feet of frontage along Powerhouse Road. So this has been a unique, challenging entrance and access for us to try to figure out, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So like I said, we've got Highway 6 on the east, and then the Spanish Fork Golf Course, the Oaks at Spanish Fork, on the west side. So, and then we also wanted to be very cognizant of the Spanish Fork River Trail that runs right along the bottom and also buffers between us and the golf course. And we know that's a very it's a cool trail. We've walked up and down it quite a few times, and sounds like the residents and citizens of Spanish Fork enjoy that trail as well. So we wanted to be mindful of that to make sure we preserve and enhance that as best as we can. So this site's also lend itself to a very unique, puzzle piece for a vast trail system that goes all the way from Lehigh all the way down, and will ultimately connect, farther south through not only through Spanish Fork but Salem, etc. So we found this site as kind of a missing piece where we're trying to get over, I guess you could call it the Great Divide with Highway 6 and the railroad, and it's kind of presented some challenges there on trying to get that trail connectivity. And so we're excited that we've come up with a plan with staff's help to really fill in that last puzzle piece, and I'll dive into that here in a little bit. Obviously, the history of the site, it's gone through many iterations. Yeah.
Just a minute.
Sure.
Sorry. I want to be sensitive to the fact that we've met with you multiple times, and you guys have seen this about 12 times now. I think you've seen a lot of this. Would it be okay if we moved along and just kind of showed you our current site plan and how we've addressed some of the concerns you brought up last time?
Might avoid aggravation of seeing the old ones, so it might be a good step.
Yeah, okay, perfect. We sent Byron, we've sent an email that has just the current iteration, I think, really addresses some of the substantial issues. And why he's pulling that up, I can just, one of the things that we heard was the desire to have all single-family homes on that parcel between Finger Hut Road and the golf course. And so we've made that adjustment, And so those are all single-family lots. They range in size from 5 to 6,000 foot lots to 16,000 foot lots. And there's quite a range in that area. So that entire lower section will be single-family lots, and we'll show you that when that pulls up. The second thing that we have been spending a lot of time and will continue is the secondary access. We have shown various iterations of how to get good access. And Byron and Jared were arguing earlier about who gets credit for these ideas, so I'm going to let them duke that out. But we have engaged a consultant. The development team is engaging with a consultant, and we have a very strong initial indication that we are going to be able to take a road that would be a public road between the industrial building.
I think we've got one here as well.
So just to orient it, here's Highway 6.
And then if you can go back to the mic,
Oh,
so we can pick you up.
I didn't know how far the laser pointer would go. My flashlights are always weak.
Yeah, it's good.
So I mentioned, first of all, that this has all become single family along here. So that change has been made. Then, again, the other major primary concern is access and separation between a residential use and industrial use. Jared and Byron came up with this idea of, why don't we bridge this road and create a new intersection at Highway 89 and Highway 6, and that fulfills a kind of a long-standing sore spot of trying to connect the trail system, which they've spent a lot of time working through. That connects to the Mapleton Trail system and all the way down. The other really nice thing that it does is it gives a great full-motion interchange so that the truck traffic will be primarily along this road and never have to go down through here. And it really cleans up the traffic and everything down at the powerhouse and Highway 6.
Great.
So we think that's a really great solution. It is not without its bit of headaches, and we're working through all those right now, meaning Railroad and UDOT. And we'll figure that out because that's what we'll do with your team. So that is the current plan that we would be pursuing and coming back to you with. But those were kind of the two main points that we wanted to show. Other questions?
So let me just reiterate. So you're proposing to change the truck traffic to that Moark Junction modified intersection. That's a big investment and a lot of work on your part.
It's going to be a lot of work on ours and everybody's part. And
Right.
so we've had, we think this is a win across the board for the owner of the industrial building, us. We like the fact that the access for the vehicles is more direct, more visible, and they're not going through a neighborhood with kids and residences. We love the idea of getting the trail connection, and the whole series of trails will from Dripping Rock all the way across. Jared and Spanish Fork, from my understanding, have been working for multiple years on trying to get that, and this opens up a whole new set of opportunities. And then having a full motion interchange at that intersection, given that there are lots of units going on in Mapleton, I think from UDOT's perspective, they like this, and it also resolves kind of a long-standing issue of this Gomex Road that's kind of an oddball and a safety hazard. And so that removes this odd right-hand turn that is used to access, the windmill area behind. So all parties have been on board. The railroad is fine with it as it's grade separated. The trail can go across it. So I think universally everybody's pretty excited about this.
And that would negate the necessity to have the road onto Powerhouse Road that was previously planned.
In the long term, yes. This is a $10 to $20 million two-ish year thing. As part of our plan at this point is this has to go in either way. Mm-hmm. In the short term, there could be some kind of an access that also relieves that pressure and then ultimately becomes a trail, an access point from here up to here so that this trail system can be accessed. But the long-term plan, and this would be part of the further entitlement process and changing the zoning, would be to dedicate that ground for the roads and everything to the city, and then we're all working together to get the funding for it.
I think you've
Speaking out of
addressed-
turn there,
I
Dave.
appreciate how you've addressed our two biggest concerns with this iteration here. You found a solution for them that may not have been what you want to do. I'm sure you don't want to spend that money and time, but it addresses the concerns that we and others have had, so that's great.
Well, I think it was a really good idea, and I do think it was engineering that came up with this idea, and the driver behind that was the trail connection. But we certainly would not have come up with that on our own. But I think we can pull off.
As someone who is a Moark Junction frequent user, I say thank you also, and to everybody who's put their heads in on that. I regularly turn left going toward Mapleton and hold my breath and suck it in a little bit as trucks are going by, So anyway, I hope that something works out here in this kind of way.
We're confident that it can and will, and in working with the staff and everything, we will not bring plans in that don't have that. So unless the railroad blows up on us,
Which could happen.
we actually think they'll be our least difficult group. That doesn't mean everybody's going to be easy, but we've met with all the players at UDOT, the railroad, everybody involved, Mapleton City, and there seems to be broad consensus that this is a really good solution.
One other interesting point on the as Edge Homes, we're developing on the other side of the highway right there, and so we've been able to work with Mapleton City to make sure that trail continues along and will eventually connect at this point. So we do have the ability to make sure that trail connection happens on that side of the highway as well. So
That was something I was going to ask, is if Edge has that property that was Trojan Powder, and that would make that a four-way intersection when it goes on, or it could be,
Yeah.
when it goes on to Highway 6.
yeah, we purchased that land last year, and we've already started our first phase in that project. In fact, tomorrow night I'm on Planning Commission for more phases there. But we do plan to bring that trail, and we'll work with Mapleton City to make sure it gets to this point here, and then we can pick it up on this side of the highway and continue it on. So, and then from a buffer standpoint against the existing building, we have been able to make sure that we have appropriate space as well as fencing to make sure we buffer the different uses. Surprisingly enough, there's a little bit of a grade difference from our site to the existing building, and so that actually can play in our favor a little bit to make sure we have that appropriate spacing and buffer. So, but yeah, so that'll be exciting, and to be able to, just internally to have, nearly just short of 2 miles of trail internally, and to make that connect to a much larger system is really exciting. And on the north end, I don't know, Byron, if you can just scroll up just a little bit, but we do want to make sure we have some sort of a trailhead. We've added significant trailhead parking right there for people to be able to get onto the greater system. Sounds like sometimes there's a conflict between trail users and the golf course users down there on Powerhouse. And so this could be, in addition to what's kind of kitty corner from this off of River Road, there's some overflow parking there, but this could definitely supplement that from a trailhead and access standpoint. So,
Okay, I need to see.
Parking for the light.
Yeah, where? So there's power. Where's the intersection? Must just be off where the
Just off
light
the map,
is, just off the map.
yeah, so Powerhouse. Oh, we got double laser here.
Oh,
Who's got-
so you turn
combine the
in.
streams.
Oh,
Oh, I gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I
so
see that.
Powerhouse is being this road right here. It's very faint, but that's River Road. There's an overflow parking right there, and then just off the page is where you'll have
The golf course.
the golf course,
overflow.
and that other parking trail. So we do want to connect not only a trail system here that will bring it down, and just to the bottom of the page, we do want to have a trail that goes down and connects onto the Spanish Fork River Trail. There's a bridge that goes across the river. We want to just connect on our side of that right there. So, yeah.
So, is this part of the parking also?
That portion's not. So we're reserving a few acres there along that frontage for a commercial site of some sort, whatever
Where
that might
it
be.
kind of dips down right
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. There's a good aerial image of the greater connection. So, yeah, that's in a nutshell. There's our presentation there. But we're happy to answer questions that you might have. So.
I like what we saw.
Yeah, I like it.
I like what you've done, and I like that you have listened to us as we've tried to work these things out. And, it sounds like things are going in a good direction. And so with everything else that's going on in the city and the need for more affordable housing, as well as some beautiful home lots that overlook a golf course and the river, I think that you've struck a good balance here. And this crossing of that railroad would be huge for a lot of people. I think that Shauna really hit the nail on the head that if you turn there on Mohawk Junction to go to Mapleton, it can be scary there because you've got that traffic that's going way too fast out of the canyon anyway. And some of those big trucks will rattle your windows as they go past while you're waiting to make that left-hand turn. And so this, in addition to that junction, will alleviate some of that. And the other thing is that I've lived on Powerhouse Road and on the other side there, and I can tell you that we get tons of large truck traffic that miss the turn into Finger Hut or into that building now, and then they're searching for a place to turn around with a 53-foot trailer, which isn't easy. And so if we can avoid that by having that new entrance onto Highway 6, that's going to improve things a lot just on Powerhouse. So I like the direction that it's going, and if that can come to fruition, it's going to be a good thing for everybody.
Also, as someone who rides a bike on that both sides of Highway 6 trail regularly, that is something we're all wishing for.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's
Thank
great. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
It is a public hearing, so I'll open our public hearing up. If there's anybody that wants to address any concerns or topics on this topic. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any commissioners have any other comments? I would entertain a motion on this general plan amendment to go before the council.
I guess I just have one other question
Oh, good.
or some comment about this. I think that one thing that we're aware of, but maybe the public should be aware of if the millions of people watch this, is that the city is undergoing a modification, update of our land use area of our general plan. And so we as commissioners feel probably an extra responsibility to think about if changing the general plan during this time really makes sense for Spanish Fork, and I support it. I think that this is a good use in this area. With that, I move that we recommend to the City Council to amend the general plan to high density in this, or from industrial to high density in this area.
Staff's findings.
I second it.
Oh, as long as it satisfies the findings and conditions.
Yes. Excuse me. I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so this will go before the city council when?
April 16th,
April 16th.
Next week.
next week.
Very good. Our next item of business is to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Shortest meeting you guys have sat in, too.